friends. This is the Be Real Babe podcast, a place where your average babes come together to talk about life stresses, messes, and successes. A place where being yourself is the ultimate goal, where your opinion, your story, and your individual experience matters. Join me, your host B, and my guests for real and raw talks every week, laying it all out there so we can all help each other learn more, grow deeper, and evolve collectively. Now keep in mind, as a disclaimer, no one here is an expert and no one is giving any advice. This is strictly our opinions, thoughts, feelings, and for entertainment purposes only. Now with that being said, it's time. So grab your drink, grab your joint, and let's jump right in. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Be Real Babe podcast. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by the show today. I hope that you have a good time. And if you're a returning listener, watcher, supporter, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for coming back time and time again. For those that don't know me, my name is Brandy. I am the host of the show, and today you guys are on episode 184, What in the Actual Internet, Part 4. And I just realized that worked out perfectly. Dang! This season, my episodes are just lining up so nicely to the titles. Like, I didn't even mean to do that. Anyways, guys, super excited about this one. Solo episode, and I'm going to try and keep this one quick. I am going to do a little experiment for season 8 and see how a short episode goes. I know I say that all the time, but I'm actually going to give that a shot. I have 3 different topics I want to talk about today and stories that I want to read you guys, and we're going to go through them real quick. Just kidding, not real quick, but you know what I'm saying. But before we do that, I just want to remind you, if you are watching on YouTube or Rumble, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. If you get a second, you can comment. That really helps the engagement and gets me out there to other people. If you are listening on Spotify or Apple Audio, you can also turn on notifications, follow, and leave a review if you're feeling so kind. I absolutely appreciate everyone who has already. And if you want to find me on social media, you can find me at the Be Real Babe podcast on Instagram or on Pinterest, or you can find me on Facebook at the Be Real Collective. Okay, so 3 topics today. What are they going to be? So I'm going to kind of do a disgusting Oreo, if that makes sense. So I'm going to give you guys one that I find is really gross, but not the grossest. And then I'm going to give you one that's just kind of like funny and light and fluffy and just kind of getting people all riled up. And then the third one is going to be one that is like beyond disgusting. And I'm really not sure how more people aren't talking about this and how I just kind of stumbled across this. And this isn't across all everywhere. So first thing we're going to start out with, and to be honest, you guys, when I read these stories, sometimes the things that these people do, I don't want to say their names because I don't want them to have any sort of attention. I don't want these people, and good or bad, right? And I'm not saying my following and it's big and that's ever going to happen. Like, I'm not saying that. But for me, it's kind of like it doesn't really matter who the person is. And I just don't want to bring more to this individual because she is getting roasted. So I'm going to try my hardest not to say the name. I'm more likely going to say blah, blah, blah. But just as a person that deals with fertility issues and whichever, even putting that aside, I just think it's in poor taste to do things like this. I don't personally find pranks or like those types of things the funniest. So maybe this just isn't my humor, and you guys go ahead and let me know if you think that this is funny. But me personally, I do not. So I will start this article. It's from starchasm.net. And the title reads, blah, 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 why this influencer lied about her pregnancy to promote Patreon. So you can go and look up yourself, find all these articles and find this individual's name, but I'm just not going to say it. So the article reads, online influencers often have a precarious road to tread when it comes to parasocial relationships. In this instance, YouTuber blah, blah, blah played a prank on her audience with the end goal of promoting her Patreon. Her defenders claim that she was just poking fun at parasocial relationships, but her detractors are offended that she played on the emotions of so many people who dealt with real tragedy and fertility hardships. Maybe her experiment revealed more about parasocial relationships than she intended. So, for one, to me, this isn't like a thing about parasocial relationships. Like, this isn't a gotcha kind of moment, in my opinion. This isn't like, if someone's excited about your pregnancy or excited about your loss, I think that's common human nature. I don't think that's because you think you're somebody on social media or Instagram or whatever influence that you think you are. Like, there's general emotions people just feel for strangers. It doesn't necessarily mean because they're your followers, like you got them. Like I'm really struggling to find the punchline here, but let's continue. Maybe it'll reveal itself. After not posting for a year, 20-year-old blah 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 released a video on April 18th, 2024, announcing that she was pregnant. The 5-minute video took viewers on a journey from blah 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 not knowing what to do with her life to freaking out in her car over finding out that she was pregnant. Then, in a voiceover, blah, 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 asked her audience to remember a surgery she had when she was 16 on her uterus. Without explaining exactly what happened, she said that she had surgeries to get stuff removed, so her fertility has always been a little weird. Okay, fair. And honestly, up to this point, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna, even when I read like that she had lost her baby in the way she did it, I was like, if she actually lost her baby, like I'm really not going to speak on how you're healing and how you're reacting, because like if you're close to me, you know that I have really dark humor when it comes to my miscarriages too, and it's not for everybody, and that's totally fine. But that's just how I heal. So I just kind of stay out of the lanes of telling people how they need to heal, and in a certain degree. Like obviously we don't want to promote bad behavior, like drug addiction or porn addiction or sex, you know what I mean, like there's lines, but for the most part. But this to me, it just screams out of touch and what people that don't know what real life consequences are like. And I feel like they're the younger generation, maybe doesn't have as much of consequence by what you say thing, because the most of their lives they've been able to live on social media and say whatever the fuck they want and do whatever the fuck they want, with like maybe just like trolls and haters replying, but no physical threat, right? Like so if you're a millennial and you ran your mouth like that, you didn't have a social platform to do that. So if you said it, you said it in public to real people, and there was real consequences, like getting punched in the fucking face. Shit like that doesn't really happen anymore because people can aggravate you from across the world that you can't even go and punch in the face. Like this gal, you know what I'm saying? So it's like they don't live in reality. They don't understand real life consequences. So to me, this isn't exactly shocking, because like how the fuck would you know what it's like to lose a baby over and over again? Like you wouldn't have that. And you're putting yourself online and thinking that everything that you read online is fake. Like, okay, that's good to know to a degree, but there's still real people out there as well, and there's still real emotions. And so to me this just seems so out of touch. But again, maybe I'm missing a piece here. um so that was another thing that kind of bothered me, I guess. Like in the videos, she was kind of going off about like, she's super young and of course she's going to have the baby, like almost like saying out of the question about abortion, which fine, whatever. But then she goes off to say, well, if I don't have this baby, like this could be the only baby that I could have, and da 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 da. And it's like, again, not understanding the punchline here. Oh, how is this like pranking your audience? How is this getting them a good laugh to you? Like, I still don't get the punchline. I understand it was like, and we'll go over why she did this. And I get, like, I know there's an answer to why she did this, but I don't get it. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Um, she goes on to say that if she needs surgery like a C-section, she might not be able to get pregnant ever again. Following this thought, here's a brief shot of her crying in the dark. Oh, you don't need to. Yeah, she's just like crying in the dark. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then she like literally would say like, oh, people my age are just like, I don't know what I'm doing for the weekend. It's like, you're not even having a baby, you have no idea, like all this stuff, like really played and acted in it. And honestly, if you were trying to depict what it was like for someone to go through this, and you were trying to do an actual like video and share, you know what I mean, like as an actor or something, and you put at the bottom that this was like a screenplay or you know what I mean, like if you would just let people know it wasn't real and this was like a story or an act or something, I don't know that people would have been as enraged. But because, and again, because you're trying to do this parasocial relationship experiment, like you're actually like, I mean, we all have to work on our things. So that's where I'm like, whatever, girly, like, I already have to deal with my infertility shit. Like, this isn't, it's just, I think it's poor taste. And I think that nowadays that reaction videos and drama channels and clapbacks are the only fucking way that anybody understands any sort of boundaries. Because with the comment sections, you're always, even if you are a goddamn saint, someone's gonna say that you're fucking Luciferian. Like you can be like, woo, and they're like, oh my god, devil. You can be like, by accident being like taking a picture and maybe you went this way and then you like did oh my god, she's Illuminati. You know what I mean? So like, but yeah. So getting back to this, I'm just Yeah, okay, anyways. Then a cut to Polaroids of her growing belly as happy music plays. I'm going to have a baby very soon. Blah, blah, blah said at the end of video, promising to take viewers along this journey with her. And she's, I'm hoping you'll come along this journey with me. Da, 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 da. On May 1st, 2024, blah, blah, blah posted an updated video with the title, I Lost the Baby, which would be quite a shock if you thought she was sincerely pregnant or you thought she was sincere in her pregnancy announcement video. So it's not only that she did like one video one time and then came back and was like, just kidding. Like it was a progression of it. It was pictures, it was videos like of like the baby bumps and like her freaking out and all this stuff. So it's like, it's not just a one liner, one punch joke on April Fools, which is disgusting. But you know what I'm saying? It's more than that. Like it was like a fucking like thought out plan, like premeditated stupidity. I don't. The video starts with upbeat music and blah blah blah, visibly not pregnant, throwing things around as if she's looking for something. When you're a content creator, the line between entertainment and reality is very blurred, blah 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 stated in her video, admitting the fakery in response to the hypothetical question, why would she lie like something like this? She goes on to explain her harrowing experience when she first started posting videos on YouTube at 15, and she said that she would get daily threatening essay comments that she had no way to reply to meaningfully. Blah, blah, blah goes on to proclaim that neither the viewer nor the creator is real to each other. None of this is real. Pause. You don't know consequence. That's why you don't think it's real, but it's real. And I don't know if you know about something called karma, bro. But like, I wouldn't be fucking with that shit. This this could come back really like depending on what you believe in, but spiritually girly, I feel like this is gonna come back on you, and something is going to happen to make you feel the repercussions and the consequence of something like this and putting this out there in the world. I'm not wishing it on you by any means. I have known what it's like to lose babies. This is why this upsets me that you think that this is a fucking joke. And that looking around you, like, I'm not joking, you guys. It wasn't just like, oh, I lost a baby. It was like, I lost it. I can't. And she's like ripping stuff around our house and being like, I lost a baby. I can't find it. And then goes off to be like, this was just kind of, I can't believe you guys thought this was real. This was just a joke. This is just my point because like parasocial relationships, like you know more about me than I know about you. And it's just silly that you got yourself attached to an idea that wasn't real. Cool. So you're shaming people for believing the lies that you told. I don't know what kind of level of narcissism that is, but that's wild. And I mean, in the video, she goes on to admit that she's a narcissist. Like, good on ya, I guess. Congratulations on that fucking awareness. Golf clap. Okay. But yeah, essentially the punchline. Well, let's keep going. I don't want to ruin the punchline here. She explains how parasocial relationships can result in viewers getting personally attached to an abstraction of the creator or who they think the creator is. Blah 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 then says she lied about being pregnant as a joke, and the joke was that people connect to something that wasn't real. She knows that creators and viewers come to social media looking for a connection but never really find it. Then she turns the whole thing into a pitch for her Patreon, and she states that the whole stunt is to advertising for her Patreon and to announce that she's coming back to YouTube. So, from my understanding of this, is that she wanted to weed out the bad people like she had in the past when she was young, being like essay threatened and all that kind of stuff. And she thought that if she did something like this and she had a Patreon, she could weed out the bad people, and that if her private life or what she wants to show people is behind a paywall, then less creeps will come and see her. Um, Again, maybe not fully understanding life and reality and how things work, but sweetie, most people probably aren't going to pay unless they're really interested in you, and more likely if they are obsessed with you or a hater, chances are that they're going to pay for those things to creep you out more, get closer to you, fuck around with you, get like inside person information to share with everybody else. Like, I'm not sure that's going to age like you think it's going to, and then you just pissed off a whole bunch of people. Because again, if you there's many different ways that you could have done this, and there's many different things. If you are truly wanting to share what it was like to go through a miscarriage, if you actually knew what that was like and you wanted to have more awareness of it, I completely agree that that's great. If you would have put on here that this was, because I see that she had like this kind of like advice section. So if you wanted to, not that I feel like you should speak to it if you've never been through it necessarily, if you would have had done the video of what it was like to lose a baby, not in the joking sense where you're looking in the garbage can to see it, because that's disgusting if you actually know what some people do with their baby. You know what I mean? Just very out of touch. So, if you would have went at it as a actual awareness video and did an actual good production, because you're good at production, you're good at theatrics, you're good at what you do, your message just did not hit at all and went so fucking over that I don't even want to say your name, because I don't want to give you any credit or have sent anybody to you. I just want people to understand how fucked up people are online, and how, it's I feel like there's so much fake that that's why I try to show up to be as real as possible and try to share as much honesty and all of that. And I feel like if we can all just work collectively to be a little bit more honest, a little bit more real, we can maybe then see a big difference between, okay, this is acting, this is social media character, and these are real people. Like, to sit up here and say that nobody on social media is real and this is all like a joke. Meanwhile, multiple thousands of people live their whole entire lives, their jobs, their careers, their identities online, you being one of them, being on here that you're 15, that's a pretty fucking bold statement. You're saying you're not real at all. Okay, you want to show up as a fake person, then go the fuck ahead. There's a difference between being real and protecting and saving your boundaries and keeping things private than just outwardly being a fucking liar. You know what I mean? Like, I just, gross, gross, double gross. So anyways, she's got a Patreon. I think it's disgusting. I'm not even going to talk about it. There's different levels. I think it's so stupid. I think this is probably one of the grossest things I've seen a YouTuber or TikToker do, or whatever she fucking was. And people are kind of like decided like half on debating on this. I don't know why there's a debate personally. I just don't think that's good behavior. I don't believe in cancel culture, so I'm not thinking that she should be canceled, because I just don't believe in that. I just think people should be like, yeah, no, that wasn't cool. And if you're going to keep doing stuff like that and out of touch, then for those that don't like it, then listen. And if you like it, I guess cool on you. Like I said, I do have dark humor, and I can actually be pretty dark about miscarriages and losses of babies. I'm not trying to be that way. So I'm kind of saying, like, if I am saying that this is a little out of touch and I get pretty dark about it at home in the privacy of my own home, I don't know. I just kind of gross. So you guys have probably seen that. Maybe you've seen that story, maybe not. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, that one kind of grossed me out, but not in a level that the last story is. But the next one is just kind of funny. And of course, it's another thing that's going around on TikTok. And what I find is funny is I don't even have TikTok. I think I opened us an account last year maybe, and I was slowly starting to update reels, but y'all, it's just so much work. Like, I can't do all of it. I can't record an interview and do the content and then post it to a million different apps. And I don't know why I'm struggling so hard on Instagram. I know I should just ditch Instagram and go to TikTok, because I know I'll get more views, but it's not necessarily about that. I just don't need another one. And out of all of them, it seems like most people are addicted to TikTok the most. And though I'm grateful that a lot of the stuff that's on there comes over to Instagram or YouTube and I can see it, at the same time, I do not need another fucking addiction to another goddamn app that I have to put notifications on to tell me how long I've been on there, and just ignore limit, ignore limit. Y'all know what I'm fucking talking about. Don't act like you don't. Don't act like you don't. We're all there. Also, for those that are watching, yes, I'm addicted to energy drinks, and yes, I'm going to work on it. But if you want to show, don't ask me to work on it, because I can't have both at this time. But anyways, I'm really addicted to the rain ones. I don't know. I think they're the easiest ones to find. I don't know. They just taste the best. They don't taste metallic. I'm not promoting them. Do not drink these. These are the devil. And I'm sure someone's going to be like, if you put this upside down and you tilt it 7 ways and put another one beside it, it's going to be Basmet. I'm just kidding. I believe in all that stuff too. But sometimes it's just like, I can't do everything perfect. Anyways, next one. So another TikTok thing. And I actually found this on Abba and Preach, of course, because those are two of my favorite Canadian YouTubers. So make sure you guys go watch them. They're fucking hilarious. I laugh all the time. So I get very excited. Abba Preach and The Squeaky Floor. So go have a watch for them, especially if you're Canadian. They are located on the other side of me. So on the more the east side of Canada, I believe in like somewhere around Ontario, Toronto, somewhere. Anyways, they brought this up and it just made me giggle, because as like, I guess you could say feminists would probably label me as a misogynistic feminist, where I truly believe in equality. I'm like first wave, like feminist kind of, where there's like true equality. Um, And so this one just kind of made me giggle because this is just another divide on the internet that people are up in fucking arms about. And again, I just think this is super, super funny personally. So I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's called drizzle. So what does drizzle mean on TikTok? It's a part of a broader parody trend, apparently. And some people are saying this is a parody and it's just trying to be funny. And some people are like, no, it's real. Fuck men. Fuck these guys. Da, 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 da. And I'm just sitting here like eating my popcorn because y'all, I don't always think it needs, anyways, whatever. We'll get through it. I think this argument is just literally killing me. So it all started, okay, so for all this article from Distractify that was written April 12th, so pretty recent. For all of the joy that it gives us users, not me, TikTok can also feel a little bit like snake eating its own tail. Yeah. It's hard to know exactly what's going on the platform unless you spend all your time there and why people might be using certain words or phrases. And I'm not going to lie to you, and maybe this is a millennial thing, or maybe it's because I'm not on TikTok, but the amount of times I have to go to like Urban Dictionary to figure out what something actually means is kind of embarrassing. I don't know if that's showing my age. Is there any other millennials that feel me? So this one I got to learn from Mab and Preach, so I didn't have to look it up. In 2024, the phrase drizzle has been showing up more and more in videos. And if you don't already know what the videos are talking about, you're likely to be a little bit confused. Here's what drizzle means and how it's connected to what some are calling the soft guy era. What does drizzle mean on TikTok? In order to explain the phrase, we have to first explain more exactly what the soft guy era is. The movement seems to exist in response to women who refuse to date men who won't take care of them and don't necessarily have their lives together. Soft guys are meant to be men who are just trying to get through the day and okay with being less than the very best versions of themselves. Just go off, kings. This new era comes in a direct response to the 2023 soft girl era, when many women on TikTok tried to intentionally take a step back from the girl boss era and allow themselves more space to be imperfect. These women emphasize drama-free living, self-care, and also sometimes focused on more traditional family values and marriage. That movement was met with plenty of praise. Was met with plenty. Holy crest, plenty of praise, but also some criticism for some who wanted women to continue asserting their power. Now, soft guy era is meant as a direct response. In most of the videos related to the trend, men say that they have given up on dating broke women and now only want to date women who can take care of them financially. The videos are meant to be taken comedically, and often include men suggesting that they'd like to be taken to nice restaurants and have beautiful things purchased for them. So you could just go look up the trend yourself, you guys. There's a lot to it. It's really I just find it super interesting. This the content is just great. So where does drizzle come in? So now that we've explained the parody of soft guy era, drizzle is just one small component of that broader trend. Many of the guys who have filmed videos as part of the trend have included the phrase in them, and it's another element that seems to be designed to parody another TikTok trend. The original term being parodied is sprinkle, which was introduced on TikTok in 2023 and is meant as a retort asking to bless your heart. The term was originally used primarily by women, but drizzle is being adopted by men in response. Men seem to be supporting one another as they discuss their soft guy eras and how much they feel that they bring to the relationship. This parody is funny, but also important. It's an important comment on the give and take inherent in almost any relationship. It's stupid, but also kind of interesting. So, my personal take on this that nobody asked about, um, I think it really comes down to each individual relationship, to be honest with you. And I think it also comes down to individual seasons, because if you've been in a long term relationship and, unless you're married to someone or dating someone like super rich and maybe money isn't a thing, which I do not believe for most Canadians. You probably feel that way, and if you do, good for you. Suck dick. I'm not talking about you. But most of us know what it's like to go through stuff. I mean, someone loses a job, or someone wants to go to school and they're not working as much, or someone got injured, or someone's pregnant and had a baby. There's times where things change. And I think that's the beauty of your relationship, is coming together and ebbing and flowing as it's needed. Fuck yeah, back in the day, men went to work, women stayed home, and that was the status quo because you didn't need a second income. I think a lot of the times we get distracted by shit like this, and women are like, either trad wife all the fucking way. Don't make me leave. Don't make me make money for you. I want to stay at home, like fucking bare feet, taking care of kids, great. On the other side, I'm not fucking having a man take care of me. I'm taking care of myself. Fuck every single man. I do not care. I'm gonna do this myself. I'm gonna take care of my kids. I'm gonna take care of everything. Cool. And then there's people in the middle that are just like, meh, it really, I don't think it really truly matters or not one or the other right or wrong. I think it really just depends on who you are. And everyone just gets so riled up that there's a different opinion or someone living a different life without understanding that you can absolutely live that fucking life and they can live that life. So I don't personally, and I get riled up a lot of things, okay? But I'm just saying for me personally, I don't get riled up if I was, let's say, in the dating scene and some guy was like, you need to pay for everything. Like, okay, that's weird. I'm more of a 50-50 person, or like, how you decide if the spouse is making more money, like why should I have to pay 50%? That being said, maybe that's just what you want. I think it again comes down to relationships. If you want to be taken care of, then I think you should make that known on the very first couple of dates that sorry, that is what I'm expecting, and just be honest with it, right? And then if you don't like that, then be like, I'm sorry, this is just a lifestyle. I don't necessarily think that there's anything wrong with that if you want to have the lavish things, but don't expect a man that doesn't have that and men, be honest in what you think you can provide and what you want to provide. If you're a man that wants 50-50 and you're trying to date a woman that wants you to put in 100%, you're going to have some struggles, my dude. And vice versa. Like, if it's a man just not doing fucking anything and the woman is working nonstop, taking care of kids, taking care of the house, supporting, like, that's probably not great unless that's what she wants. So I think it again boils down to communication and each different relationships and seasons. There's been times where I've lost my job. I was in the oil field managing office in the oil field, making good money in Alberta, to being a bud tender at the beginning of the fucking regular, like, cannabis opening up, let's say, when cannabis was sure as fuck not making money. Then I went from an oil field job to essentially like a waitress without tip job. Okay. I did not have a choice but to rely on my spouse. But then and before that though, I was making good money. So I would do those types of things, right? And we've always had an open conversation. I'm not saying we are perfect. I'm not saying any of those things. But I think at the end of the day, I'm not going to shade someone that wants a man to spend thousands of dollars on her every single. That's if that's what you want and feel you deserve, like, go off, queen. You might have a hard time finding someone that's doing that, but if that's your standards and your boundaries, then hold them. Or if it's the other way, you want to be independent and you don't want a man to pay for anything, please make that very clear on both ends. Men, be honest with what you can provide. And I'm not saying you sit down date one, you're like, how much money do you make and how much money do you put in savings and what's your day? I'm not saying that, but there's very obvious things. And sometimes a conversation should come out. I think for first couple of dates, like until you're in a relationship, me personally, I don't think you should assume anybody's paying for you in this day and age, and nor should you. And if you think that they should, then make that kind of clear that that's like kind of what you're expecting, because I think if you show up and then you just assume, like, that's just going to be bad for everybody, right? Like, why even waste your time, right? If that guy's like, oh, okay, you're just gonna, and maybe some guys do and they're like, yes baby, I'll take care of everything, like, I very rarely take grand out. I will, but there's been other times in our relationship, like through transitions, that I might have had to pay for more. I did the extra. It's not he's less or I'm more or whatever. We're in a fucking relationship together, right? But we get this divisive stuff even before we're dating, in like even before we're together. In the single scene, you get this, and then now you have people that are fighting about this stuff that don't need to be. It's like, so again, I do think, it is funny. I think it is what it is, like, and to me at least, these guys are saying what they honestly feel. Like, you want them to be honest and they're being honest, and then you get mad at them for being honest. This is the part I don't get. And women, if a man doesn't want to pay for stuff and he cannot provide for you and that's what you want and need, then hold off for somebody else. Or better yet, make yourself so fucking independent that it don't matter what he has or what he doesn't have. And if he can highlight and take care of you, amazing. Then you can take all your money, queen, and hide it or spend it, or invest. I would say hide it for yourself and put it in investments and make smart money moves. But I really, again, you just have to have that discussion, and I think you need to be honest. Again, does that happen on the very first date? Probably not, but as you get older, like in your 20s, no. But I'd say in your 30s, like, quit fucking around. Like, quit wasting people's time. Just be honest with who you are and what you are. I think your dating life will be so much better if you're just fucking honest. It sucks. It probably makes it a little bit more lonely, but I just felt like I'd rather be more alone and be honest with myself so that the right person came along, and he did. And I'm so fucking grateful. And now we tackle everything together. And that doesn't mean that we've split everything 50-50. What I'm saying is that we tackle everything together. We have the hard conversations. We sit there and we work through it together. We don't point fingers. Well, of course we do. We're not perfect sometimes, but you know what I mean? So really important to talk about that. So this whole like drizzle thing, people are getting real upset about it. And again, I'm just living for it and I think it's fucking hilarious. But you guys let me know what you think about this one. And now let's go on to the most disgusting one. And I'm doing pretty good for time, so let's see if I can wrap this one up quick. I don't really want to wrap this one up quick because it's kind of disgusting, but I want to encourage you guys to go actually watch the YouTube video on Rotten Mango about this individual, because again, I don't know if I've said this before, but she's amazing, amazing channel and does such a good job at telling stories and details and thought that I never could, but I just wanted to bring this story to light because it just shows sometimes that people don't really know what's going on in other people's houses. So I'm not sure if most of you have heard of the story of Lacey Fletcher. So just recently, her parents' court cases have come up, and this is what brought it back on my radar. So the case of Lacey Fletcher shocked the nation with its harrowing tale of neglect and abuse. On January 3rd, 2022, emergency services responded to a distressing call from Sheila and Clay Fletcher, who reported findings of their daughter Lacey Elaine Fletcher dead on their couch. What they discovered was a scene of unimaginable horror, sparking widespread media attention and profound sense of disbelief. So that's a thing. Just keep in mind that her parents called because she was dead on the couch. Okay, so just hearing that in context, maybe not the worst, right? Oh, maybe she had a heart attack. Maybe someone did something, right? But let's continue on about Lacey first, and let's find out what happened to her. So in her background, her life was marred by adversity at an early age. Diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, she faced relentless bullying during her high school years, prompting her parents, Sheila and Clay, to withdraw her from school and opt for homeschooling. And this is not a reflection. I just want to say this right now. This is not a reflection at all on homeschooling or someone with autism at all. The only thing that I will say about her being on the spectrum, and I'm not even sure if they say that now. Yeah, I think so. For autism is that I don't think that she would have, and I'm just speculating, I don't think that she would have had the strength to speak out about being abused. I think that's the only thing on here that would make it very different. But I don't think it's a focus of this. I think this is a focus of how terrible these parents are. But let's continue. So despite the challenges she faced, Lacey's life took a devastating turn when her cognitive health began to decline. At the age of 24, Lacey's cognitive health deteriorated to the point where she became unable to leave the confines of her family's couch. Instead of seeking medical attention, assistance for their daughter, the Fletchers made the faithful decision to leave her in these conditions. What followed was a prolonged period of neglect and suffering that defies comprehension. So remember, this started at 24. That's how young she was. I have to go through and scroll past the pictures because it's awful. The conditions in which Lacey was forced to exit were nothing short of appalling. Left on the couch for years on end, surrounded by her own waste and infested with vermin, Lacey's physical and mental health deteriorated rapidly. Her body, once vibrant and full of life, wasted away under the weight of neglect, with her muscles atrophying and infections taking hold. It wasn't until January 2022 that Lacey's plight was finally brought to light. The Fletchers' call to 911 revealed the horrifying truth of her daughter's death. Emergency services arrived at the residence to find Lacey's emaciated body fused to the leather couch, a stark statement of the years of unimaginable suffering. Yeah. Pictures are really hard to look up, guys. You could just Google it. I wouldn't suggest doing it. In the aftermath of Lacey's death, Sheila and Clay Fletcher were charged with second-degree murder, facing the full weight of the law for their heinous crimes. heinous actions. However, a plea deal saw the charges reduced to manslaughter, sparing them from a potential life sentence. On March 20th, 2024, they were sentenced to 20 years in prison, a punishment that many believe pales in comparison to the magnitude of their crimes. And I fucking agree. The case of Lacey Fletcher serves as a reminder of the vulnerability of individuals with disabilities and the catastrophic consequences of neglect and abuse. It has sparked widespread outrage and calls to reform in how society cares for its most vulnerable members, which I completely agree. And I'm going to actually pull up. I didn't have another article. Yeah. So I'm going to try and find that other article when I kind of walk through this here because it sounds it sounds bad, but again, I really think you guys should go watch the Rotten Mango recall of this because honestly, she's just the best YouTuber. Like she literally has the best ways of you feel like you're right there, and this is why this one threw me off. And I actually watched this over a month ago, and I just had to talk about it because I felt like it was the saddest thing I had ever read. Let's see if I can find something a little bit different in what actually happened. Okay. So, following Lacey's cognitive health decline, which led to her inability to leave the house, Sheila and Clay left her on the couch and placed towels next to it so as Lacey's feces and urine would be easier for them to clean. The rest of their house was well cleaned except for the couch, where Lacey remained unable to move from the couch on her own. Over time, Lacey's clothes began to no longer fit her, simply draping off her body. They would frequently leave for days on end and go on vacation, leaving her to starve. One time, her muscles atrophied and vermin began to eat at her extremities under the couch, leaving mouse droppings and maggots to thrive in that space. There were signs she had been trying to lift herself out of the couch to avoid the pain, but due to severe malnutrition and atrophy in her leg muscles, she was unable to. Her body fused into the leather couch cushions as she was covered in urine and feces, as well as maggots living in her hair and inside of her. She suffered starvation, bone infections leading to finally sepsis, which caused her actual death. She had feces and couch cushions both under her fingernails and in her stomach contents, showing she had attempted to save herself by eating her surroundings before dying on the couch whilst or shortly after they came back from vacationing holidays. Wikipedia also says Lacey was found to have COVID-19 in her body. Just a reminder of how stupid that was. Guys, come on. That is fucking clearly has not. She better not have been a part of the polls. So they basically said, and there's a lot more to this, guys. Again, I wanted to keep this one short. I just wanted to have everyone keep her in their thoughts and how unjust that is, and wish for nothing but putrid treatment in prison for her parents for doing this. If you can't care for an individual or a child, please give them up for adoption or to services. Please don't do this. That's disgusting. She did not deserve that. And maybe even if she was like being a lazy teenager and not getting off the couch, that is no reason to leave her to rot there when I'm sorry, that would have had to have smelled. You couldn't just not know that. This like at first people were like, "Oh, we're not sure." Like, no. Go look at the photos. There's no way that and to clean everything else but that. Like you knew what you were doing, and I don't know why you would do that. As a parent, I have no idea. Like, were you resentful to her? I don't really fucking care. You're sick, twisted individuals, and I hope that you rot in prison. And I really hope that we can do better for anybody in society, kids, most vulnerable, women, men. Like, it doesn't really matter. Nobody should be treated like this. Nobody. And like, this is what I mean. You like people just stop seeing her. She stopped emailing people. She stopped talking to people. No one checked in. No one said anything for all those years. For all those years, she was 96 pounds. Is how much she was when they found her. And she'd been in those conditions for 12 years, you guys. 12 years. 1, 2, too much. 12, unimaginable. I feel like her parents should have to go through that. They should go through the exact same thing that she did. That should be the punishment, in my opinion. So yeah, Those are the three topics, you guys. I'm so proud of myself for keeping it under an hour, under almost 45 minutes at this point. And it's not because I don't think that these topics deserve more conversation. I'm actually just trying to see what you guys like. And if you are feeling so gracious, and message me and let me know what you guys prefer. Some of these episodes I do want to keep a little bit smaller so that the guest episodes, they tend to be quite long, which I fucking love because as if I'm going to turn off a good conversation. But also want to give you guys little snippets too. And so all the shows aren't crazy long. And this one just seemed like the right one to do since I was by myself again on this one. So you guys let me know, do you like the shorter episodes? Or do you just like, girly, give me a 2 hours straight. I just want to have it on the background and 2 hours because it's work. Or are you like, yeah, I love listening to it on my commute. So if you could throw out some, little ones, that would be great. You guys let me know. I'm here for y'all. Like I said, I cannot believe I'm coming to the end of season 7 here. I have everything locked in for the remaining of the season. I have 4 or 5 episodes after this one to record, and I am done and ready for the fall season, which kind of makes me sick to my stomach because I don't want to think about fall. I just love the summer so much. So I'm not going to think about it too much. I am definitely going to live my full month break before I get going. But recording for the fall at least starts in August and September. Still is very good months. But again, guys, if you are interested on being on the show, if you have a topic you want me to talk about, a crazy thing that you found on the internet, a crazy story that you have that you want to share on the internet, just know I'm always open for interviews. Just reach out to me. I'm always happy to put you on the line. If you want to go and come into season 8, I can put you on the wait list. Just let me know. You know where to reach me. But I hope you guys had an amazing day. Thank you again so much for listening, so much for supporting. I appreciate you guys so much. And until next time, guys, bye. Thank you guys so much for the support. I cannot thank you enough for being here. If you like this episode and you want to hear more, please give me a follow at the Be Real Babe podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, and Pinterest. You can also find me on Facebook at the Be Real Collective. Until next time, guys, bye!